The number of alcoholics and drug addicts in South Florida is staggering, and it continues to rise. Daily, people's lives are destroyed, one by one. And it doesn't just affect the addict, but everyone around them.
I didn't care about nothing. I didn't care about anybody. I didn't care that my mom sat there and cried every day over me. I didn't care that I didn't see my daughter.
I was at a point where I hated to see the sunrise. I hated it. I was so discouraged in life.
It will kill you. Addiction like alcohol or substance abuse, drugs, happens every day. As we speak, there's probably one dying behind a dumpster.
The more you do it, and the more you get deeper, it drags you into it. You know what I mean? It's like a pulley. You know what I mean? Once you get hold to you can't make it loose.
Here in South Florida, a light shines bright at a place that reaches out to men and women in desperate need, a bridge to a new life. That place is Faith Farm. Faith Farm Ministries is a church with a heart for the hurting, providing residential services for addiction and recovery. Faith Farm gives food, shelter, and more importantly, hope. Over the years, thousands of shattered lives have been restored and families reunited. This is the work of God. This is the work of Faith Farm.
Faith Farm is a drug and alcohol recovery program. There's a lot of miracle 30-day programs out there, but Faith Farm is unique in that we bring the people in and ask them to stay for 9 months for a total rehab.
One dresser, 2 drawers, and a bed to sleep in. God is meeting Mike's needs. This is where he and the other men in the program will spend the next 9 months. He'll sleep here, eat here, and pray that God can rescue him from his lost, desperate life.
It's a mess. It's just a total mess. Your life is my life, total mess. I was obsessed with the drink once I started. And that's all you think about. Without this place, I'd probably be dead.
Faith Farm provides each student food and shelter. They give them 3 meals a day. They also feed them spiritually with daily classes with the focus on the Bible. The instructors? Others who have gone through the program themselves. Who better to counsel and mentor those in need than someone who has walked a mile in their shoes?
There's a cohesiveness of a brotherhood. There's a brethren where you fellowship with men that are going through the same circumstances and situations that you have experienced.
We love doing it. That's why we're there. No other reason at all except that we love doing what we're doing, and we love to see the changes that we've seen and will continue to see in men's lives.
Aside from food, shelter, and classroom instruction, Faith Farm provides a work-study program. Faith Farm also provides job training. Monique first started working the cash register at the front of the thrift store last year. She learned quickly and is now a manager. She's part of the very successful women's program at Faith Farm. She's recovering one step at a time.
I should be in prison or I should be dead. Because I was very hopeless and very helpless, depressed, suicidal before I came to Faith Farm.
Drug addiction is cruel, and it makes people do unthinkable things. Monique abandoned her family, and at one point in her life, she didn't see her son for a full 2 years.
It's hard on adults, your mother and father, brother and sister, to see you go through those things. But it's harder on the children.
This is me and my husband at the beach with my baby girl. I lost my whole family. They didn't want nothing else to do with me. Nothing. They wouldn't help me. They wouldn't do anything. They wouldn't even speak to me anymore. And that was really hard.
She's receiving help in Faith Farm's unique women's ministry. The program is designed to offer specialized healing, prayer, worship, and Bible study. It's a structured environment that centers on Christ. The women live in a setting that simulates the comforts of home, except it doesn't have the most essential comforts, like children.
The first time they visited me here, I'll never forget, they both wrapped their arms around my neck and it took 3 people to peel them off me.
So it was hard saying goodbye, and I wanted to leave the program. But I knew if I left, I was in no state of mind to say I'm not going to do the drugs again and be there for my kids 100%. So I was sticking it out for my children.
Faith Farm has a rich 50-year history of obedience to God and a compassion for helping others. In 1951, Reverend Garland Eastham answered God's call to reach out to help those in need. The people have changed and some of the buildings have changed, but the basic principles have not.
The thing that makes Faith Farm successful and unique, without a doubt in our mind, is the spiritual connection to God.
It's a godly place. It saved my life.
Billy is a recent graduate of Faith Farm. He had been through a half a dozen programs with no success. He tried 30-day programs, 60-day programs, inpatient and out. Nothing seemed to work until he discovered Faith Farm.
Faith Farm introduced me to a relationship with Jesus. That was the most important. Once I got my relationship and I let Jesus in my heart, everything else just fell into place. It was just that easy.
Billy is one of the many success stories at Faith Farm. He is now a successful businessman and a valued member of the community.
Faith Farm is not here to get you a job. Faith Farm is not here to, get you an apartment. What they do is they give you God. They take you by the hand, they introduce you to God, and with God in your life, I believe you could do anything. When you leave here, if you take the principles that you've learned here, no matter what you do, you can't lose. You just can't.
That's very gratifying when our alumni come back and we see the change in their life, and not just that they've gotten off drugs and alcohol and gotten rid of that addiction, but they've gone beyond that and they've made changes and positive changes and started companies and employing other people, and that's very gratifying to see.
Currently, there are just over 300 students at 3 Faith Farm campuses. That's our current capacity. Sadly, it's not near enough. We are currently funded through donations and sales through our 3 thrift stores in Fort Lauderdale, Boynton Beach, and Okeechobee. The financial burden to maintain the level of commitment to our students lies squarely on the shoulders of Faith Farm, and not the students.
It's totally free. We don't charge anything for anybody. It costs us, right now, the cost is about $2,950, almost $3,000 per month per man in the program.
However, it's getting more and more expensive to operate the 3 campuses, let alone build and grow our ministry. We have the land available, but we just don't have the resources. Through prayers and petition, we'll continue to put our trust in the Lord that He will provide.
Where else can you go and have all of your needs met and to focus on nothing but getting yourself right with the Lord and straightening your life out in every single magnitude? Where else? Where can you do that? Free.
Thank God every waking moment of the day and through the night. This place is a land of miracles. I mean, every square inch is blessed by God, and the way it functions. And it saved my life.
Our heart is to help anybody who needs help. And so we open our arms to anybody who walks across that bridge.
I'd either be at a hospital, in a jail, or dead. Faith Farm has saved my life. Completely.